Okay, so we're talking about recipes and how it is made. So how is fufu made?
it's kinda lot of process to make it.
Okay, well, what are the ingredients?
The ingredients
It's made with rice
first
or
water, make it with the rice, with the flour. I think, but mostly you have to make. I mean, make water. I mean, put water first and some corns with the flour.
okay.
Um, if you wanna mix it with some spices, it's up to you.
Okay.
And
And it gets really soft and kind of like almost like bread
oh yeah,
consistency.
yes.
And and then it is eaten with what? What do you eat
Oh,
it
it's
with?
with the uh some what's this? Um, how they call it? I don't know. I don't know.
Some
Get me
sauce?
confused. Some you can it can be eaten with the
Veg,
vegetables. Yeah,
right, like okra. Do
yeah,
you eat it with okra, tomato?
tomatoes. Yeah,
lettuce,
Yeah, it's delicious.
potato.
yes.
Okay, good job. Does anybody have a question that you can think of to ask that is passive,
That's
That
that has
is
passive
passive.
construction? Does anybody want to try?
Okay. Mm,
We got about 2 minutes and then we'll check our homework. So if you can think of something to ask in passive.
the passive.
Um,
Um,
Let's think of like
where
travel.
where
No, wait, not
where
travel.
where you stand? I don't remember the past participle of the stand. Standard at the
Stood.
bus stood. Were you stood at the bus station?
No,
No.
actually, travel which is not transitive. We can't use it. And
Okay.
stand is not transitive either
It's intransitive.
because you cannot say, I stand the steps or I stand the floor. You can't say that. We say, I stand on the steps.
oh, got it.
So, yeah, so good try. Keep thinking. We got
Okay.
to find those transitive verbs. You
All
can
right,
look in your
another.
book.
are
Yeah,
you
let me
go to
let me
Go ahead,
try this
Amani.
one. Yeah, it's little question. Is your homework completed? That's not it.
Yeah, there you go. Good one. Okay, two and Walter, is your homework completed?
uh
Yes.
is
Yes,
work
it is.
Yes, it is.
is
Okay, good. Look at
work
page 271. Page 271. These are the past participles we talked about on Thursday, remember? Look in the box. Does anybody want to try to make a question with one of these?
271, right?
Yeah,
yes
271. Like I can do you acquainted with this is a formal way of asking, like if you know about something. Are you acquainted with someone or something?
uh, are you be run on beer
What's that too?
are you be drunk on beer?
Oh, have you been,
Have you
right?
been
Have you been drunk
Or have you been?
On? No, I don't say on. Have you been drunk? With? With. We just say, have you been drunk before?
Because I say
Okay,
on the
I
271,
know one.
the on the back, so I don't
That's a
know.
very personal question, but yeah, that's a good question.
Another one?
What?
That,
Anybody
uh,
else?
Yes?
yep.
Okay. Okay, Walter, you take a turn. You haven't said one yet.
Oh, yeah. I said wrong.
Right. You said a
Okay.
wrong one. We need a good one here.
Okay. How long have you been married?
Oh, there you go. How long have you been married? Anybody want to
Yes.
answer?
No, I think
Another
no one.
personal question. Well, I guess all of these are pretty personal.
How long have you been married?
How long have you been engaged? How long have you been divorced?
Oh, been married.
Yep.
Are you being frightened? That's
Are you,
that's
and
great,
we don't
right?
have to use Ben. We don't have to use Ben in all of them. Are
Uh,
you frightened?
are
That
you
would be
frightened?
present tense. Are you frightened or have you been frightened
Have
before?
you been? No, no, without being, right? I can use being. Can I?
Yeah, not with the ing being. No.
Not with ing. Okay. Ben.
No, and
Being,
the
be.
reason, yeah, the reason is because it the be verb there, we're talking about describing your state, and we don't use the progressive with the be verb. Like I don't say I am being happy or I
Mhm.
am being sad. We just say I
But
am happy, I am sad, I am frightened. So we would ask it in the present tense, just simple present. Are you frightened? Yep,
okay, but can I use it for create a question?
with the
The verb
ing.
being. Yes.
Okay, let me think about this. I'm sure there's a way. Yes, okay. Um, okay, let's say we're talking about a current situation at
Okay.
and you requested a raise or a promotion. And I could ask you, are you being given a chance to make
Yes,
extra money?
of course.
Are you being given? So we can
Okay.
use,
Are are you being given?
yeah,
Are you being given?
are you being given a
Are you
chance?
being given a chance? Okay.
Yeah. So that's with a different past participle. With these,
But you don't use usually, right?
yeah, we don't usually use it. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But you can use it. Like I'm thinking about rice is grown in many countries. Um, I could say COVID-19 is being taken seriously to talk about
Yeah.
right now at this moment, is being taken seriously. Yeah, so we can, but you're right, it's not very common. Okay, guys, so that was our warm up for today. I want to get you in the mind of passive. And next, let's check our homework. You guys can open to page, let's see, we were on 265, page 265, exercise 12. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on my screen here, and you guys can do that too. We're looking at exercise 12 right over here on the left side. And we already did number 2 and 3 and 5 in class last week. Let's go ahead and look at number 4. Number 4, we should put, is Spanish spoken in Peru?
Okay.
Is Spanish spoken in Peru? Okay, why are we using is? Because in number 4, do. So why do we switch and use is in the question?
Because
I need
data
to check it.
present.
Okay, 2, I heard you first. Go ahead. What's your explanation?
Because data symbol present. So we use the to be a symbol.
Yep. Is that what you were going to say, Walter?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
She said because it's simple present.
This is number 4, right?
Yes.
I was to say I need a verb to be to do it a
Yes.
passive,
To make passive.
to make passive.
Yeah, and that's correct too. So both of you are correct. In number 4, this is active voice. So in simple present, in a question, we just use do or does when the subject does the action, right? But when we change to passive, we have to have a be verb. So we still want to keep the same tense. We're keeping simple present, but we're using the auxiliary verb, the be verb as the auxiliary. We're not using do or does, okay? So the main verb in number 4 is speak. And so when we want to use that in passive, we're going to add that be verb as the auxiliary verb. Is Spanish spoken in Peru?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's skip to number 6. And Amani, what did you put for number 6?
All right. When was the first? Uh, when was the first computer invented? But I got two options right here. I put two different sentences.
Okay, go ahead.
Another one is when the first computer was invented. Is it right?
Okay, your second one was not right. What was your first one again? Amani?
Yeah,
What
I said. When was the first computer invented?
invented?
Invent.
Invented.
Okay,
Invent.
your first one is correct because this has to do with the question word order. When we have a question word order and we use when, the WH word, we have to have a verb right after that. We cannot say one or when it, if it's a question. We always have a verb. We always say when is, when do, when did, when has. Okay, so we're going to have the be verb after when. So when was, because this is past, when was the first computer invented? So we're crossing out the actor, which is someone. We're not using that in our question. And we cannot use did because we need to use the be verb in past. So when was the first computer invented is number 6.
All
Okay,
right.
any question?
No.
All right. Okay, good. Walter, can you do number 7, please?
Number 7. At a hardware store is sold hammers.
Wait, that sounds like a question. Is that a question or a
Yeah,
sentence?
right.
Okay, so we're looking for subject, verb, object. Subject, verb, object in the active voice. People sell what?
Hammer.
Hammers.
Hammers. So that
Hammer.
word hammers is what we're going to use as the subject now.
Hammers
Hammers.
Okay.
are
Yeah.
sold.
So hammers
Our soul.
are
Sold.
sold at a hardware store.
And Walter has like 3 different voices. It's amazing. He
Yeah,
can switch from like a female voice to like an East African accent voice and back to Argentinian accent. Okay. Yeah, Walter, go ahead. We're listening to you. What do you think the sentence is?
Yes. Like said Armanian too.
Yeah.
This is hammers are sold at a hardware store.
Good. Hammers are sold at a hardware store.
Hammers.
Good job. Okay. Now we can go on to 2. I think 2, it's your turn. Number 8 on the next
Oh,
page.
oh, really? I just do number 7 then. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Do you want to try number 8?
I have to open the book to see number 8. Okay.
Oh, okay. It's all right then. It's have you ever been hypnotized?
Or have anyone ever hypnotized you? Um,
Have you ever been hypnotized? Yes.
You is going to be the subject. So have you.
you are.
No, uh-oh.
Have you ever been have you ever been hypnotized?
Hypnotized.
Hypnotized.
Think of your hip. You know, on your waist, you have a hip. It's the same pronunciation.
Hypnotized. Oh.
Okay, good. And there's a picture in your book of somebody being hypnotized.
Hypnotized.
Okay, number 9, I'll just give you the answer. Number 9, The Origin of Species was published in 1859. And number 10, The Origin of Species was written by Charles Darwin.
Wait, the number 9. Did you say off or you take it off the off one? The origin of species
The
or just
Origin of Species.
oh, I had different.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's supposed to be The Origin of Species. Keep of in there.
Right.
Okay, guys, let's skip on down to exercise 13, page 266. Letter number 2 is B. Was built.
Yes.
Oh, Amani, go ahead. What's your question?
Oh yeah. What's the meaning of hypnotized? Hypnotized.
Hypnotized. Okay,
Hypnotized.
do you see the top of page 266? See a little picture of the man?
Yes.
He's being hypnotized.
Oh.
So hypnotize is kind of a mental game where somebody can make you think and do things that you're not consciously aware that you're doing. So people who are hypnotized, like somebody can say, okay, on the count of 3, you're going to raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, and they just raise their hand, even though they're not thinking about it. They're really famous. If you guys like to watch this show, oh gosh, I forgot the name of it. Oh, America's Got Talent.
Yes.
Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Okay, America's Got Talent. If you go to YouTube and just type in America and type in hypnotize, there was an episode where one of the judges got hypnotized, and the judge did something that he would never do if he was actually conscious. And everybody was like amazed because that one judge, Howie, he never touches anything with his hand, like anybody's hand, because he's afraid of germs. So he'll never shake a person's hand. But the contestant hypnotized him. And then he said, "Okay, Howie, hold out your hand and shake mine." And he did it. And everybody was like, "Oh." So hypnotize is when you do somebody makes you do something, basically. Okay? Does that make sense, Amani?
Oh,
Do you still have questions or are you good?
no, I'm good. I see.
Okay. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so number 2 on exercise 13, letter B, and then we put was built. And then we need to put no and B. So it's kind of complicated, but we're going to circle letter B. Our school was built in the 1980s. We underlined was built. And then it asks, is it important to know who built the school? No. And the second question, which sentence do you think is more common? It's letter B. Okay, did everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay. It might be easier if you look up here on the screen to find the answers. I'll just read it to you. Number 3, it's A, B, C. Underlined was designed. And then the answers are the by phrases tells you who designed the building. And the important information is in C.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, we underline was ruled. It means that Thailand has never had a ruler. Okay. Everybody good on that one? We can skip over now to exercise 15.
What's the meaning?
The meaning for number 4.
Number 4.
It means that Thailand has never had a ruler. Never had a ruler.
I put is never been led by any power. I mean, foreign
Yeah,
power.
foreign power. Yes, you could also say that, Amani. It's the same thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, doing good. Let's go to exercise 15, which is on the top right side of your collaborate screen, page 267. So exercise 15, number 1 happened. Number 2 was hit. Number 3 was. Number 4 injured.
Call.
And number 5 called. Number 6 was taken. Number 7 treated. Number 8 happened. Number 9 and 10 wasn't killed. Okay, questions on that one, anybody?
No question.
Okay, moving on to exercise 16. Okay, we've got 2 left. Exercise 16, number 2. Walter, what did you put?
Last
Was
night.
interrupted.
Yes. Okay, 2. What did you put for number 3?
Number 3 belongs.
Yes, belongs.
Yes.
And Amani, what about number 4?
Number 4 is delivered.
Good. Is delivered. Yes. Good job. Okay, I'll finish these. Number 5 is not pronounced. Number 6 happened. Number 7, and then was met. Number 8, heard, and then was not surprised, and then was shocked. Number 9, will be built, or you can say is going to be built. Number 10, wrote, and then written. Okay, everybody say written.
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 That's good. Okay, I think Amani did the best. Written.
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 Do not say writin'. Okay. When it's a past participle, we change the sound to I. Okay. So it was written, and then number 11 was kicked, attended. Number 12, agree, prefer. Number 13, your bike stolen. Number 14, have you paid? And then will be shut off, or is going to be shut off. Okay, any questions on those? Let me know.
No.
That was a long one. All right, we got one more, guys. Today's lesson. So exercise 19, page 269. Number 2, should be planted.
Yes.
Number 3, cannot be controlled.
Yes.
Controlled has 2 L's. Okay, number 4, had to be fixed. Number 5, can be reached. Number 6, ought to be washed. Number 7, may be cooked and then eaten, or you can say may be eaten again. Make sure you separate the may and the be. May be cooked, eaten. Okay, number 8, could be destroyed. And number 9, must. Lots of past participles here. These are so fun. Pronunciation is sometimes different. Spelling is sometimes different because number 7 we have eaten. Can you guys say eaten?
Eaten.
Good. So we got written, eaten. Those are the ones that are hard to say. Okay, let me know if you have a question. Otherwise, we're going to go on to the next section. Okay. Wait a second here. We already talked about using past participles as adjectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't give you any homework in that section.
Okay.
I think I just realized I didn't give y'all homework in that section. Ooh, you guys got lucky. Well, I can show you if you want to look at it here. I got my answer key up here, but basically exercises 22 or 23, 24, and 25 are all really good exercises for looking at the past participles as adjectives. Okay, so what does that mean if we have a past participle that's an adjective? What are we talking about?
We have ing or ed.
Okay, well, we didn't talk about the ing yet. If you're looking at page 271, we're looking at past participles as adjectives. And notice it says, Walter, remember you asked me about the ing being?
Yes.
And remember I said we don't use those with these. And look what it says at the top in the green box, non-progressive. So non-progressive means no being. We're not going to use the being, the be verb with ing. But anyways,
What page
we've
was
got
that?
on page 271.
Okay.
Page 271. So we're just reviewing here. We talked about using past participles as an adjective, okay? Because what that means is it describes the subject. So I can say that's just the board is describing me. It's a feeling, okay? Does anybody remember what type of passive this is called? It starts with the S. Special kind of passive. We have a name for it. Anybody remember?
No. With S?
Yeah, it's whenever we have the past participle acting as an adjective. It's functioning as an adjective. We call that whole construction starts with the S, a special kind of passive. Nobody remembers? It's been a long weekend for some of you. Long weekend staying at home doing nothing. Okay, it's called stative.
Stated?
You remember stative? Don't tell me you forgot. Let me go back in there it is right there. Look at my PowerPoint. We can use stative passive. Stative passive. Remember that you're describing the state of something. I am bored. Bored is an adjective describing how I feel. She was tired. This is also stative passive. Tired is an adjective describing how she felt. Okay? You guys, do you remember now from last week? Or you still don't remember this?
Yes, we remember that, but I don't understand your question.
Oh, my question was, what do we call this kind of passive?
I just answered your question. I remember about that, but when you met the question, I don't understand.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe my question was confusing then. Okay, well, we are going to continue talking about those past participles with ed or the irregular ones and adjectives. We're going to talk about adjectives some more. This time we're going to also focus on some ing words, the present participles. Okay, so I'm looking at page 276 if you want to follow with me. Here are two more examples of what we call stative passive, okay? The past participle in the red letters is describing a person, place, or thing. So in example number one, some students in our class have been interested in learning how to drive here in the United States. Interested is describing how the students feel. Okay, so again, this is an adjective. It's describing people. It's representing a state of being. We're not really focused on the action that happened to the students or to people. We're just focusing here on the description of the students. Okay, so description means we're going to have an adjective. All right, do we still have the be verb in this sentence?
Yes, been.
Yes. Have been.
Been. Okay, so we've got our be verb, past participle after the be verb. So All right, a second example. Everyone who is tired of getting low wages at their job should vote for Bill Vernon in the next election. Okay, we've got tired is a past participle. It's functioning as an adjective. And who or what are we describing in this sentence?
People.
Everyone. Yeah. So we're describing how everyone feels. Okay, so again, this is stative passive. Okay, now let's focus for a second on present participles. Now remember, this is confusing. Remember I said a past participle doesn't mean that it doesn't always mean it happened in the past, right? I can describe now. I am tired. Okay, so past participle mean it happened. Present participles do it has to happen in the present. Isn't that confusing?
No.
Is anybody confused? It's called a past participle, but it's not called a present participle, but it's not always in the present. But that's how it is. That's just the name that we give these, okay? Present participles are the words that end with the ing, okay? And they are acting as adjectives sentences, okay? So we're not talking about a gerund. We're not talking about like present progressive, like I am working, she is driving. Okay, we're not talking about those INGs. These here are acting as adjectives. So let me show you what it looks like. It says the PBS special. PBS, by the way, is a channel or station on the TV. The PBS special about Trump and Biden was interesting to watch. It looks like, wait, this looks like past progressive, was interesting, but look closer at the sentence. Do we have people that are doing an action?
No.
That's correct. We don't have, oh, Trump and Biden were talking. Trump and Biden were working. We don't have the something doing an action. So again, let's think of, wait a second, this is a different type of sentence, okay? So what we have is interesting is describing the PBS special, the show, okay? And then we have in the second one, these long debates and negative political ads are tiring to me. Tiring. That comes from the word to tire or to wear out, to make someone feel tired. Okay? So my question is this: how do we know if we're supposed to use the past participle or the present participle in a sentence? Look at the top in the red letters, interested and tired, and the bottom, interesting and tiring. So how do I know which one to pick?
The the passive, the present participle, used for the think. The another one used for the billboard. How do they feel?
Okay, I thought you were going to say that, and I'm glad you said that. A lot of people think that the ed is used for people and the ing is used for things. But I'm going to show you some examples where that's not true. Okay. In my sentences, if you look at these, students interested, everyone tired. Okay, that's people. The bottom, PBS special interesting, debates tiring. Okay, so it kind of looks like people go with ed, things go with ing, but that's not always true, and I'll show you why. Okay, here's the answer. The past participle is going to signal or show the feeling. Remember, I've been explaining a lot about feelings, right? The present participle shows the source or the reason for the feelings. Okay, so we've got, let's do example together, bored and boring. So remember, bored is a feeling,
Yes.
and boring is describing the source of the feeling, is the feeling. So let's do an example together. The movie was, do we say the movie was bored or the
Boring.
movie was boring?
Boring.
It's boring.
Think it's
Yes.
boring? Why?
The reason.
Was more. Was more.
For the reason
It's
for
is explaining the feeling.
But if it's feeling, we'll say the movie was bored. Are you saying it's explaining the reason for the feeling or the cause?
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
good
I said the reason.
Oh, okay. All right, that is correct. So we're looking at a movie. Here's a question you can ask yourself. Do movies have feelings?
No.
No, movies don't feel anything. So uh, the boring, okay? Because the movie was the cause to feel bored. So think about the last time you were in a movie theater or you watched a movie. You know, you're sitting there and you're either one of two things. You're either interested in the movie or you're not. So the movie is causing you to feel bored or the movie's causing you to feel interested. So we say the movie was boring or the movie was interesting. It has to be ing. Okay. What about the second one? My friends and I were
bored.
boring or bored?
Bored.
Bored. Okay. Um, if you say, my friends and I were boring, that means that everybody else around you guys didn't want to be with you because you were just no fun. So we never say to somebody, oh my gosh, I am so boring. Don't say that to people because that means you're telling everybody else, hey, stay away from me. I'm not fun. I am boring. Okay? So don't say that to anybody. Don't say, I am boring. All right, let's try another one. Is it bored or boring? The teacher was what?
Bored.
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 Bored?
Boring. Boring.
Look at the context here. The
Yes, the
teacher was,
teacher was boring.
so we dropped the class. We dropped the class means we didn't like the class. The teacher was the cause. The teacher was the source of the problem. So we could say the teacher was boring. Okay, so this is an example I wanted to show you where
Yes.
people can have the present participle, but you need to be careful on the meaning. In this case, source of the problem. They're the source of the feeling. And then we had the feeling. We were bored. The teacher was boring. Okay, in that case, it's correct. You can use this ing to describe a person. Okay, any questions about those examples?
No.
No.
Okay, good. And one thing to remember, we have the ing, okay? It is not passive, okay? The ing part, like the teacher was boring, This is not passive. So just remember that. To be passive, remember it has to have a past participle. So this is not a form of passive, but they put it in the, they notice it's a common mistake that students make with this ing and the ed. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's do practice questions. What are you scared of? Okay,
I
what are you scared of? How do we answer this?
I scared of snake.
I'm scared of
I'm
the
scared.
dark.
I'm scared of snakes. Don't forget too, you have to say I'm with the B. I'm scared of snakes. I'm scared of the dark. What about you, Amani? What are you scared of?
I'm scared of
The
the
girl.
dog.
Yeah, I'm scared of the dog or some kinds of dogs. Okay. Can we use a present participle like what did you say? Two. You said of spiders? No,
Snake.
snakes.
Snake.
That's right. Okay. Can we say snakes are scaring?
No.
I am scared. Snakes are scaring.
I'm scary.
Yeah, in this case,
Scary
we
of
don't want to use the ing as an adjective, okay? So here's the first lesson that I'm teaching you with this. Not every ing word can be an adjective, okay? So you got to be more familiar with which ones we can use adjectives. Scaring with the ing is not going to be an adjective. What we need to use is what's called scary. scary. So dogs are scary. I am scared of dogs. Snakes are scary. I am scared of snakes. Okay, are we thumbs up? Everybody got that? Or am I going too fast?
Got it.
Got it.
Okay. All right, so let's do another one. Have you been invited to an American party or home before? Here's the word invited as a past participle. Anybody want to share? Have you ever been to an American friend's house or home or?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I have.
No, yes, I
Is that?
have.
Oh, Fei Young, that's you. Okay, welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so now let's try to use a past or present participle to describe that. We can say, I was invited to his house. Can we use an ing, inviting?
No.
no.
We can use it to describe the people. They were inviting, or you could say the home was very inviting. So if a place is inviting, that means it makes you want to go there. So it might sound for a moment like I'm using it like an action verb, like present progressive, but it's not. It's just place. Like you have a very inviting home. I could say that to somebody. Your home is very inviting. That means it's comfortable. It's a comfortable home. It's nice. It's clean, cozy. Okay, so this one has ed or an ing possible. Anybody else want to answer this question? Okay, then let's go to the. We're going to practice using get. Okay, so we're getting to the point where it's kind of we're looking at smaller parts of passive and kind of different ways that we can use it. So I'm on page 278 in your book. Page 278, and we're talking about using get with a past participle. Again, these past participles are going to be adjectives, okay? So let me first ask you, have you ever said or heard anybody say something like, are you getting hungry? Or
Yes.
I'm getting off, I'll call you back. Have you ever heard
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what that means is this get is focused on something or transforming into something. Okay. Remember the be verb in stative passive is describing the state, like the situation. I am tired. I was bored. Okay. The get verb is it's kind of changing the meaning a little bit, and it's talking about beginning a process or transformation, changing something. So if somebody says, oh, I'm getting so hungry, that means they're in the process of becoming hungry. Okay. And we can use the get verb in a lot of different tenses. So I gave you a couple. I'm getting my homework done. So again, I'm in the process of doing and finishing my homework. That's what it means. The second one, we got dressed and left before 9. So a process of getting dressed, maybe shower, putting on clothes, women putting on makeup or whatever it is. It's a process of transformation. So again, we've got the get verb in different tenses, and then we have a past participle. The past participle is an adjective. Okay, so a couple other examples you might have heard before. Got married, are going to beat means like they're going to win a tournament or win a game. I think Brazil is going to get beat in the next World Cup, right? Brazil has had a couple of years of getting close, but not getting there to the World Cup. And then another one, have gotten cut off when you're on the road and someone gets in front of you really quickly, really close to your car. That's what we call cut off. So have you ever gotten cut off on the highway, students? Have
Yes.
you ever gotten
Yes, a
cut
lot.
off?
No.
Have you ever been cut off?
Yes.
I have many,
Sorry.
many times.
Yeah, I have to.
So if you've never gotten cut off, it's because you don't drive very often or you drive fast.
I
Because
never drive.
it's hard to cut someone off if they're driving really fast. Me, I've gotten cut off a lot because I don't like to drive fast. So people behind me are like, man, she's going so slow. So they'll come around me and just like get straight in my lane. And so I've gotten cut off before. Okay, so those are examples where we can use the get with past participle. Here are some examples that we do not want to use get and past participle, okay? The store will get located on Main Street. Guys, just like we just talked about with the present participles, remember I said you can't always use ing to make an adjective, not with every word, right? Same with these. We can't always use get with a past participle and then it's going to be correct. Sometimes it's not correct. Sometimes we just don't use it. We never say get located. We use the be verb with this. The store will be located on Main Street. We just don't use get, okay? Probably because we're not focusing on the transformation. We're just focusing on the state of being. I don't know why exactly, but the second one, we do not say this ring gets made of gold or got made of gold. Use get verb with make, okay? Made. But we can say this ring is made of gold. Okay? So I know it's kind of tricky because you're thinking, well, how do I know which ones I can use with get? My suggestion is look at page 278, and there's a little list at the bottom of the box, okay? The bottom right side will give you the past participles that are commonly used with get. Okay, anybody have questions? Okay, then let's practice. You guys are being too quiet over there. Let's practice making sentences with get and adjective. Like, for example, this summer I got sunburned twice. Okay, anybody else want to try one? Try a sentence.
Wait. Mm. I was exercising for 2 hours. I got tired.
Yes, I got tired. Yeah, that's a good one. Very common. I got tired. That was a transformation that happened over time, right? More and more exercise created and more that tired feeling. Yes. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah. A taxi driver got killed last week.
Yep, that's a good example. Okay. Okay, anybody else want to try? Let's do one more example.
I got lost when I walked out. Walked out.
Good. I got lost when I walked around my neighborhood or wherever. Yes, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now let me ask you guys a question. What are 3 things that you have gotten up to in the United States? So it took time, it took you a process of becoming accustomed to or familiar with a situation in the United States. So can anybody give me an example? Let's do that you have gotten accustomed to. Let me share my example first. I've gotten accustomed to hearing people say, huh? After I say something. Huh? Huh? Have you ever heard Americans say that?
A lot.
Anybody? Yeah. Because you have an accent and then they're like, huh? That's an informal way of saying, pardon me, or I didn't hear you. Okay. So I've gotten accustomed to hearing people say that. Now I'm very familiar with that. Okay, who clicked on the raise your hand button? Who wants to share something?
May I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have gotten accustomed to seeing huge people in Texas.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. I totally agree and I see what you're saying. United States has some of the biggest, most overweight people in the entire world. And it's shocking, isn't it? When you first come here, it
Yes.
is shocking. You feel shocked when you see it.
Yeah.
I totally
Some
agree.
some people like a mountain.
Yes, I know. And because we are informal, it's okay to say that. um, yeah, it is really, I can just say it that way. It is shocking to see the 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 state of our country. And it's sad, but it's serious and it is sad aspect of our country. Um, so yes, that's a good example. Anybody else? Something that you've gotten accustomed to doing or seeing or experiencing here?
Yes. Um, I've gotten accustomed to feed to feed some squirrels in my patio.
Wow. Okay, so I've gotten accustomed to feeding because we want to
Feeding.
have ing after the two. If it's a we're using a gerund actually. Like I have hearing on the screen, and Fei Young said seeing, and then feeding. So you've gotten accustomed to feeding some squirrels. So you're like the surrogate parent, I guess, or provider, huh?
Yes.
So what do they eat? I'm curious because I never feed squirrels.
Nuts.
Oh, just like any kind, like almonds.
Yes, almonds. There is another one that I gave to them, but I don't remember the name. I can see it. But they can they can eat meat too.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they have
Okay.
a varied diet.
A varied,
Varied
varied
diet.
diet. Interesting. Okay, so they're omnivores. Omnivores eat meat and plants.
Yes, normally the people think they only eat different type of nuts.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good. So you've become used to seeing and feeding squirrels, gotten used to that. You've gotten accustomed. Okay, I need one example from two, please, and one example from Amani, whenever you're ready.
I
Um,
have no idea about that. I had no idea about that.
No
um,
idea? Okay.
uh, I have I have gotten accustomed to saying a real name. I mean, the real name of people in here.
The
Here,
real name?
because America, they don't like you to pronounce bad their names. So
Yeah.
whenever you got wrong, they just correct you.
Oh, and what about in your country? They don't correct you. They just
No, they
whatever you.
can they can correct you, but if you can either like say it the way you need to say it. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you are wrong or what. Sometimes they
Yeah.
understand, yeah.
Okay. So like your name, you have like two different names. So you would just take it doesn't matter how people pronounce it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Class, do you know Amani's he has another name.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have another.
Okay, Amani, what's your other name?
You mean my last name or
So your
my
other
other
first name.
name? You say you mean emergency?
Yeah, emergency. Emergency. That's Amani that people call him. Isn't
Emergency.
that interesting?
Emergency.
No,
Emergency.
emergency is his first name. You can say, "Hey, emergency, come over here."
Oh
Oh,
wow!
Yeah, it's his first name.
Emergency money.
Yeah.
emergency. Oh, really?
Well, okay. This is what he's. You can call him emergency or Amani. So he
Oh,
has two different first names. Like you can just pick whichever one.
this
It's
one in the
it's very interesting.
letter, on the
And I
right.
remember, yeah, he writes it the same way that we write the word like emergency. And one time
Wow.
he wrote a paper and he put his name at the top, emergency, and I was like, what? Whose paper is this? And he's like, oh,
Which
that's my
danger?
name. So yes, but you've gotten accustomed to Americans insisting that you pronounce their name correctly, right?
Right.
But and that's probably true for me. I still do that too. Like people are like, oh, Hana, just Hannah, just a regular Hannah. Don't
Right.
try to say Hana, Hana. And then my last name to say, and most people will say it like a Q, Ouattara. And sometimes I don't correct them anymore because I'm just so tired of correcting.
I'm tired about my name too.
And even like on customer service, when I call and they say, okay, who's this speaking? And I say, Hana Ouattara. And then they're like, okay, Miss Quatera. And I'm like, no, I didn't say Quatera. Don't repeat that back to me. So you're kind of right, Amani. We want our names to be said correctly, but at the same time, we usually never pronounce other people's names correctly. Like you guys, for example, y'all have names that we would consider difficult to
Right.
pronounce.
Gemini.
Yeah, so interesting. Okay, come up with something. You have an idea, or still no?
Yes, let me. I have gotten accustomed to uh,
Accustomed.
accustomed to say, oh my gosh. Yeah, I
That's a good one.
I listen and after that it look like my habit. But I'm a Buddhist. I don't know anything about a gosh. But
You're a
oh
Buddhist?
gosh,
Oh my god.
oh my gosh,
Oh my gosh! Oh my
yeah,
yes. You're
all the
right.
time. But I don't know anything about a gosh.
Oh my gosh! These are. See, I
Yeah,
just said
Yeah, you said it.
it. This is so eye-opening. I love talking to you guys because y'all make me see things that are always there, but I don't realize them. Oh my gosh.
yes, all the time.
Yes. I have gotten accustomed to saying, oh my gosh, all the time. Yes, that's
Oh my god.
very common. Whenever you're surprised or something unexpectedly. Oh my gosh. Okay, good job, guys. All right. Anybody have questions or comments or anything else to share before we get the homework?
Are we done already?
No.
No.
All right. You feel pretty comfortable so far?
Mm. Not very comfortable, but
Okay,
Yeah.
I
is
feel
there one?
good.
Okay, so you're getting more. You're
I'm
in the
getting
process.
more comfortable in the process.
Okay. Is there any one part, like particular part of the passive that is the most challenging for you?
When I have to make questions.
Okay. Yes. Exactly. That is exactly why I do a lot of questions in this class, because those are usually the hardest, and it's usually the questions that we do the least amount of practice with in English classes. A lot of teachers will give you the question. Your teacher will ask you the question. So you never really have a chance to ask and make your own. So that's a really good point. We can keep doing like in the warm-ups, like we did this morning. We can keep practicing those questions because I think those are good for you. So your homework is to do practices 30, 31, 32, 35, and 39. Okay, that will be due on Thursday. And then by Friday, I want you to have the discussion and your Go React and your lab assignments finished. Okay, so I'll give you a brief description. The discussion is two parts. The first part is for you to watch any news channel or station or a video or something on the internet about the news. The reason I say the news is because a lot of times they report information and they use passive because they don't have the complete story yet. So they will say the money was taken or the child was kidnapped. So you will hear a lot of passive in the news. Plus, it's a good opportunity for you to practice your listening. So watch the news for a little bit, sometime this week. I want you to write down a couple of examples of passive that you hear. Now, sometimes you're going to hear something and you think, maybe that's passive. I don't know. Just go ahead and write it down and put it in the discussion board. Then we can all check it and I will verify for you if that's passive or something else. Okay, so it's not a graded activity, it's just a practice. Okay, questions about that one?
No.
Okay, good. And the second assignment is the Go React. And this again is a chance to practice your speaking. You're going to tell a story, something that happened to you, and you need to use passive. I want you to use at least 4 examples of passive in your speech, and you have to use at least 2 different kinds of passive. So maybe, for example, you can use a modal in one of your passive sentences, and maybe another one you can use the get with a past participle. So I want to see some variety in your sentences. Most of you have done very well with this, kind of using different forms throughout the chapter. I wrote more instructions and more examples in the Blackboard lesson folder if you want to go there and read my example. But that's also due by Friday. And I really like it when you leave comments for other students, like good job, or I like that Fei Young, you've done a lot of comments before. And Angelica did some comments on our last video, which I appreciate. So go back in and just leave a couple of comments for the students to see. Okay. And then also due on Friday is your lab assignment, which is 5 activities from chapter 10 in my English lab. Your test for chapter 10 is already posted in my English lab. If you want to go there and do the test this week, you can, but it's not due until next Friday. And that is it for today, guys.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, good. I thought it was stuck on that PowerPoint screen. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I had a good class today with you
Thank
guys. Each one of you made me laugh, so I feel better. You're so funny. Questions or
you.
anything today?